So I had an account with about a couple $1,000s and I wanted to see how much I could make in 1 month. Because of circumstances, I could only trade for a little bit more than a week, but that doesn't matter because the results are over 140% made, and here it is. That's my actual futures wallet right here. Here's what we're gonna do. I just sent some money to the Weeks exchange. I'm gonna click here on transfer from spot to futures and confirm. Our account is funded and I'm gonna open a Bitcoin long trade right here with a full wallet, 100 USD. Pick the current price and hopefully we're gonna get into this trade and we're in. We're gonna follow this trade throughout the video. Let's see how we do. The point of this is a lot of you are going to be new to this crypto cycle. The bull market has recently started and there's so many new faces as there always is. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about leverage or futures trading. What exactly is it and how do you do it and where do you do it? One of my exchanges of choice is this one right here, Weeks Exchange. It doesn't require KYC and they offer many benefits to new users. If you do want to do KYC, you can get a 5 USDT bonus. After your first deposit of 200, you get 10 USDT bonus and so on. And this scales all the way to 9,000 USDT, but this is for volume achieved. This is something we're going to talk a little bit later on in the video. Currently, our position is looking good, about 2% in profits, but the price has only jumped 0.13%. So how am I up 2%? Well, that's exactly what futures trading is. I can use leverage in order to have a bigger position than the money I have actually put inside of the trade. Now, 20x leverage is a little bit too much. If you're new to futures trading, I would suggest you don't go above 10. So to explain it simply, I asked ChatGPT, can you explain leverage trading in the simplest possible terms? And I think this example right here is the best way to explain it. So if you have $100 you're gonna put in a trade, with 10x leverage, you can trade as if you have $1,000. So if the price goes up 10%, your profit is $100 because 10% of 1,000 is 100, even though you have entered the trade with $100. So basically, your margin is what you use to open the position with. In this case, I had $100 to open my position, and since I used 20x leverage, I borrowed that rest from the Weeks exchange. And this is one of the reasons why I also like Weeks. They have great liquidity right here, and you can open pretty large positions. So while I entered the trade with $100, my actual position size is 20 times that because I used 20x leverage. So that's in theory how it works. Now, as far as the finer details here, when you open positions, something I always like to do is I always pick isolated, never pick cross, because isolated means I'm only prepared to lose the current position I'm in. Now, of course, it can also go the other way. For example, if the price goes down just 0.5%, 0.5, if I'm on 20x leverage, that would be minus 100% for me, meaning I would be liquidated out of my position. To protect yourself against things like this, you can use a stop loss. So there's two things here actually. You can use a stop loss or you can use a take profit. You could also use both, which means that once Bitcoin here or any coin you're trading hits a certain price, it's going to take the profit here if it's above where you're entered a long position, or if it goes down, it's going to stop your loss. So there's a stop loss. For example, if it falls to around this area here, I want to exit the trade. I don't want to be in it anymore and save some of my funds. I definitely recommend using a stop loss. So what we can do here, just for example's sake, it's not something I would do because it didn't pump enough for me to do it, but I can put my stop loss above my entry here, and that way I have guaranteed profit. For Weeks here specifically, so the price, let's put it right here, 98,618. So I'm going to click here on SL, meaning stop loss, 98,618, and I'm going to exit with the whole amount. So that's going to be a relatively small profit, $0.8, because, well, it didn't pump enough. But our stop loss is now placed right here, and we can even manually move it like this, which is always a cool thing to do. So there are fees to this every time you open and close a position. I paid, as you can see right here, my realized P&L profit and loss is $1.54 for a $100 position, and it is 1.5% of my position because I used high leverage. 20x is very high leverage. If I use, let's say, 5 times leverage, which is what you want to use if you're new, the realized P&L would be much, much less. But let's say we can also put a take profit area, I would put it right above these key levels right here. Since we are looking at the 1 minute chart right here, I'm going to put it above these key levels at 98,875. So we're going to go back here to the take profit now, 98,875 for 100%, and we will have made about 6% here. So that's not a big move per se, but it is one that I'm expecting that can very easily happen. So my trade here is now very safe. So it bumped above where I entered. I put a stop loss above my entry. I have my take profit area ready, although I would prefer bigger profits. So let's say we put it right here. So at this price, we have about 14% profits, which is much, much better. Anyway, you're gonna have to expect moves. You're gonna have to learn how to do technical analysis and a bunch of things. But the most important thing, the number one most crucial thing, is to be safe. Use a stop loss. Most of the time, it's better to miss out on gains, but stay safe and not get liquidated. A lot of people are gonna jump in and try to make as much profit as possible. Be greedy and maybe even earn in the beginning. Eventually, they'll get liquidated. Eventually, they will lose it all. I've seen it happen so many times. So be safe. It's way more important to be safe than to make huge gains. Gains will come. It's all about consistency. So you can trade any token you wish in this way. Any coin. We can trade Ethereum, Bitcoin, Doge, and a very, very large repertoire of coins we can trade on leverage here on Weeks. Look at this list. This goes on and on and on. I would always suggest to trade with bigger coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Any of the top 10 coins are probably going to be good for this, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are a safer bet because they have larger market caps and they're less prone to manipulation as much as the smaller coins are. At the same time, smaller coins can also pump way more and give you way more in return. So it's a risk to reward thing. It's at the end of the day up to you how much money you're willing to lose. I would say do not enter a trade with more than you're willing to lose. So let's say I enter this trade with $100 and I want to put my stop loss to where I'm going to lose only 20 bucks because that's what I'm prepared to lose in this trade. Now, let's say we come down there and I do lose those 20 bucks. That's going to be okay because I was ready to lose those 20 bucks to begin with, and I'm not going to have an emotional way of thinking because of this. So very important to be prepared that every trade you enter, you can fully lose it. Just do not get liquidated. Very important. You never want to get liquidated. It's such a bad feeling. I'm going to open something here on my phone now to show you my P&L for the previous 30 days of trading. So I had an account with about a couple $1,000s, and I wanted to see how much I can make in 1 month. Because of circumstances, I could only trade for a little bit more than a week, but that doesn't matter because the results are over 140% made, and here it is. That's my actual futures wallet right here with no editing, no any of that nonsense. So I wanted to show you that I do leverage trade. I do futures trading. It's one of the ways that I earn in crypto. I'm not just talking in theory, this is how it works. I'm actually doing it myself. So I think that's one of the main things when you want to look for futures trading tutorials. You want to look for people who actually trade futures. Now, as far as why did I get into this position? Well, apart from the fact that I wanted to be in a position while I'm doing the video, it's very nice that we're in a little bit of profit here, about 3% since our entry. Had a very good entry here if we were looking at the lower time frame. So if I entered with more money, let's say $10,000, this would have been already a very, very interesting position. But I mostly look at TradingView right here. So this is where I do my analysis. I have my indicators here, and this is Market Cipher. It's a premium indicator. So maybe you don't need those advanced indicators in the beginning. So let me remove that, and I will just use the indicators that are available here on TradingView for free. So I would use the 20, 50, and 200 SMA. So these are the moving averages. So for example, the 20 SMA, what does that mean? So this is a simple moving average, meaning this is the average a price has moved in the past 20 weeks. So that's what the 20 stands for 20 weeks. Then we have the 50 week and we have the 200 week. And now there is a correlation between these, which we're going to see on the higher time frames. Let's say we go to Bitcoin on the daily chart. And so the 200 MA is the yellow one. And then we have the 50 MA, which is the blue one. And finally the 20 MA, which is the white one. While our trade is ripping here, 5% in profits already, we're going to take a look at this Bitcoin chart right here. Take a look at the volume, take a look at the price action, and take a look at the moving averages is always very important to predict price action. You can see the correlation between them, and you can clearly see the crossovers happening. So what we want to see is the white be above the blue and the blue be above the yellow for us to be bullish. So we are in a very bullish environment here. What is not good is that these ones are kind of getting close together here, a little bit too close for my liking. So Bitcoin does need to pump and pump very soon to get that bit of separation. Another thing that happens often is they would just bounce off each other and then keep going in the same directions that they originally were in. Nice to see our trade here at 6%. So this would have been my original take profit area. I would have exited here where I originally put the take profit, but we can stay in our take profit. Maybe it's gonna retest these highs here. It's gonna be the third time testing this high. So there is also a very good chance that it's gonna go back above. So what I would do here is I would just move my stop loss even more in profit right here. So our stop loss is looking very nice here. I feel very safe in this trade right now. So going back to the Bitcoin chart right here, we can even see that the first actual crossover that actually ended the bear market was around this area right here. And this is where Bitcoin was under $20,000. Now it's $100,000. So what happened here? Well, the explosive price movement has put the 20 MA above the 50 MA. And of course, the 200 MA is lagging behind, which is exactly what you want to see on a price action, kind of confirming that we're going to continue going up. So this is on the daily chart. And this was the first time that it did this, kind of confirming, yes, we're finally going to keep going back up. So the price did fall at one point, and as you can see, it perfectly retested the 200 MA before it kept going up. Here, we went even below the 200 MA for a little bit. So this is just one of the indicators. You can't look only one indicator per se and think this is going to be it. And as soon as it touches the yellow line, it's going to go up. No, this is just one of the things you want to look at, not the only thing. So it takes a long time, trust me, a long time to master the chart. I am by no means a master of the charts, and I've been doing this on a regular basis for over 4 years now. So the specific reason I entered this trade, and when you enter the trades, you do want to look at the lower time frame so you find a good entry. So where I entered, it was around this area here, and on the smaller time frames, the MAs are not really that important. I guess you could potentially look at the 20 MA, but that's about it. I'm not sure how accurate it can be on the 1 minute chart. And here we go. It's going to go down. Hopefully it's not going to, no, it's nowhere near my stop loss here. But apart from all of this, one of the things that's going to help you a lot is to understand basic price movement and basic support and resistance areas. So we're going to go to the 5 minute chart to make it a little bit more obvious. So we have an obvious zone that we're trading in right here. So we had a zone right here, and then we had a huge breakout. After a breakout, we're having another zone right here. So this is a zone of trading now. So whether this is going to continue going up or go down is going to depend on the larger time frames. Is Bitcoin looking bullish or bearish on the larger time frames? In my opinion, it's looking very bullish. Remains to be seen though. Whether we're going to enter this trade here or not to follow the long time frame and possibly trade Bitcoin even into the new all-time high, this is something that I don't bother with. I don't like to be in a trade more than a couple of hours, and I prefer to trade small price actions. I like to trade this move. This is my favorite thing in the world to trade. So this, from the bottom to the top, this was a 0.79% move. So if I enter this trade with 10x leverage and with $10,000, risking about $200 or $300 in the trade, I would have made $800 of profits, almost $790 of profit. So those are my favorite trades. This is what I do. Every longer trade that's a couple of hours, even a couple of days, brings me just too much freaking anxiety. It's just not worth it for me personally. So every trader is going to be different. You're going to have your own trading path. And what you want to watch out for is things like this as well. This can shake people out so fast. You can have your stop loss. For example, you would see this may be now a place where the token is trading. You put your stop loss right here below, and boom, it hits your stop loss. It keeps going back up. So yeah, those are the things that happen. They do happen. It's very difficult to predict when it's going to happen, but it does happen. For sure it does. So as far as basic support and resistance, I would draw a line right here. This would be a resistance line. We need to cross the resistance. We have clear support area right here. So I would do it like this probably. This looked like a classic liquidity grab where it continued to go up from there. This happens a lot. It does happen to the upside also. It can take liquidity here and keep going down. So those are some of the things you need to be mindful of. And obviously they're going to be determined by the larger time frame. So because I think Bitcoin looks bullish, because I think it's going to keep going up, I will stay in this trade and see what happens. I guess I can keep my take profit area, but I would suggest that you keep it when you trade. But for this specific trade, I'm going to actually get rid of it. And what I'm going to do is, as the price keeps pumping, if it keeps pumping, I will just move my stop loss more and more up until eventually it takes me out of the trade, and I have made a very, very safe exit. So now on the smaller time frames, it does look like a little bit of a parabolic parabolic move. So eventually it's gonna have to go down to at least test this right here. So we're gonna wait for that move to happen, and then either we're gonna exit the trade, because Bitcoin can easily do this now to test this and then keep going back up. But the second thing that can happen here is it can go down to test it, successfully test it, keep going down, test it back up, and then keep going down. That would be a good place to put in a short trade. So that's something I haven't even touched upon in this video because I never short. I don't like to short, but you can also bet that Bitcoin's price is gonna go down instead of betting that it's gonna go up. I personally never short. As I said, I don't like to bet against Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I want my bags to keep pumping. If I see a clear sign that the market is gonna go down, maybe I would short. But in one of my biggest things in trading that I always tell everybody, you never short in the bull market. You can short in the bear. You have so much time to short. Don't short in the bull market. It's gonna backfire so hard. So I don't like to short in the bull market, and I'm not a big fan of longing in the bear market. In the bear market, I try not to do much, to be honest. Everybody thinks the bear market is just continuously going down, but not really. The bear market is this. It just goes to the side, sideways, then boom, and sideways. So in these sideways actions, you can get liquidated pretty easily, whether you're long or short. We're gonna do a trading series here on Weeks that's gonna be super exciting. A full week of trading, first of all, and show you the exact results of 7 days of trading with this $100 account. So far, we are 5% in profits. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with this trade, and to find out what has happened with the trade, did it take me out of the trade? Did I take profits? Did I remove my stop loss and risk it all in order to get bigger gains? You're gonna have to find out in that video. So hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you're gonna test out Weeks. Link is in the description if you wanna join it, deposit, and try out some trading. Obviously, I have to be very careful. Trading is not easy, and it is not gambling. That's another thing I always say to everybody. People compare this to gambling, but gambling can easily be 50-50. 50-50 chances. 50 chances I get it, 50 chances I lose it. Trading is not like that. If you know what you're doing, trading can be 80% accurate to 20% risking or losing. Whereas if you don't know what you're doing, you have a 20% of getting lucky and 80% of losing everything. So yeah, it is not gambling. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. See you later. Peace out. I'm leaving.